What's up?
Hey, there he is again. Brother, how you
Hello.
doing?
All good, man. And you?
Yeah, good to see you again.
Let me fix the shot. Yeah, good to see you too, man. It's been how long? 2 months? 3 months? I
It's
don't
two
know
months,
actually.
2 months the last time we've been online.
Online, 2 months.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
Time flies.
but we have been in touch since then during that time anyway, you know?
Exactly. Yeah. That's why
We,
it probably feels different.
yeah, exactly. But I mean,
Mm.
we got so much good feedback on our last chat that we had.
Hmm.
Because we talked about the essence of things that people can really relate to,
Yeah.
you know. And I think it's like really important that you see the mental point of view and also the musical point of view. I think here's just like because you've done everything musically. You've
Hmm.
been at the point where all the people want to be, me
Hmm.
too. So, and I think now it's just like joining forces and giving the people the best help that they deserve,
Yeah.
right?
Makes sense. Yeah,
So,
definitely.
so yeah, and yeah, for me it was a very inspirational talk that we had, and as we found out last time that when we talked is that we've known our names, but we've never been in touch personally,
Yeah.
which is an absolute shame,
It's super
right?
weird, right? And you're not
Yeah,
even
yeah,
that far away. That's the problem.
yeah,
Well, the problem.
exactly.
That's the weird thing.
Yeah. But I mean, it's like now that we have the possibilities to see each other, we just have to nail it now, and catch
Exactly.
up. Catch up. Borders are open.
Borders are open, so let's
Both.
roll.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, how have you been?
Pretty good actually. I had a pretty busy time since Corona started. The requests for coaching got in a lot, so it's been busy.
Yeah.
Um, and actually, last week I've been to the first getaway with my friends again. So we had a friends weekend, and we
Okay.
went to we stayed in the Netherlands, but we went to a camping. So we slept in tents, barbecue with friends.
Oh,
Perfect.
that's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, I had a
And
really great time.
and I mean, how long are you driving to the sea, to the coast? It's like half an hour or what?
No, the sea is
You're in Tilburg, right?
yeah, about an hour and a half, but we went to a harbor, so
Hmm.
to this what's it called? Like a nature protected nature area. Is
Yeah.
that how
Okay.
it's described? Yeah, and
Yeah.
we hired some boats, rented some boats, and yeah, had a really great time. So I'm doing really well.
So
How about you?
so you've been really sober during the times you've been.
I must say that even this morning I woke up and I was still tired. I was like, phew.
When did
Yeah,
you get back yesterday or what?
yesterday, yeah, but yesterday was hangover day and today was recovery day.
Okay. So that's great. But I mean, you need those times, you know?
It's something that you probably noticed as well. When you get older, hangovers get worse.
Oh, yeah. You get drunk way faster, and the hangovers are
Yeah,
heavier,
exactly.
you
Like
know?
when I was 21, I used to play like 3, 4 times a week, and I also had a side job next to it in the weekends. So
Yeah,
I
me too.
played
Yeah.
until 5 o'clock, and then started working at 9. No problem at all.
Yeah, I
And
know.
that other evening, going back to the club again and play again. So somehow I managed, but if I need to do that now, I will crash and burn probably.
Yeah, it's the same here. I mean, I can't even take it if I'm going out on the weekends. Not like I used to, you know. If
Yeah,
I also can't tell you what the last time I've been drunk. It's been a long time.
yeah.
It must have been 2, 3 years or so since I've been drunk the last
Really,
time.
that's a long time.
Yeah. Well, I'm not. As soon as I lose my capability of speaking properly, I don't.
Oh, you go that far. You go that far.
No,
You're
it's
like,
just
oh
until
man.
okay, these words don't come out properly anymore.
Yeah,
That's where the little the tiniest hint of that comes in. I'm stopping just drinking water.
yeah. Me too.
You
Like
know?
I have a pretty I know when to stop. Let's just call it that. I
Yeah,
love drinking with friends and stuff, but I really know when to stop.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, that doesn't mean that there's not a lot of alcohol going in sometimes. So yeah.
Yeah, great. So I mean, um, so yeah. we last time we've talked, I mean, there's been a fantastic response from everybody who watched us. I think also a couple of people have been in touch with you, and a lot of people wrote me personally how they appreciated the talk and that it's really helped them get motivated, which
That's great.
which for me is like the essence of everything. You know, getting people a little bit. You can see a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel again, you know, and if it's just like a tip of light, you know. So, but I mean, at least some. I mean, we've been at that point where we were just like everything was just crashing in. You were standing there and you couldn't find a way out anymore. You know, so and if it's like musically that you have just like an absolute writer's block, and you have no idea where it comes from, and you have no idea how to solve it, right? So I mean, during my time, it was about 2012 when it got really hectic in terms of touring and producing and requests, and at some point I've toured so much that I couldn't tell anymore in what sometimes I wake up in the morning and I couldn't tell in what city am I now, like frightened, you know, like just waking up and I said, where the fuck am I now, you know? So and that's worried me.
Yeah,
you know?
well, that's at least to say.
Yeah, and then you come back home and then you're just like you're just full of adrenaline, but you still you feel that it's all clouding in your head, you know. And so I think this is like a good starting point. What is it that you would do if you feel these alarm signs pop up with an artist, like when everything just crashes up over your head? What is it that people should do in a or what should I have done?
What should we have done?
Yeah. I mean, you've probably seen it too.
Yeah.
So
it all starts with taking a break. Like all the aspects that you're describing means that you're demanding too much from your own brains, too much from your own life, which literally, as you mentioned, it clutters everything. It clutters a bright thought. You know, you can't really think clearly anymore. The thing you also described with the creativity part. So you noticed that it started blocking you creatively in the studio, for example.
Massively,
Yeah, it's all logical because once you're stressed, the first thing that gets killed is your creativity. I'm not sure if are you familiar with the Maslow period?
With the what?
The Maslow period?
No.
Pyramid? No?
No.
Okay. Well, it's this period that describes which needs you have as a human being and what you need before you can go to the next level, sort of.
Okay, yeah.
Creativity is at the last level. So you first need to make sure that you have food, that you are in safety, that you have a roof above your head, all those like basic things. Then you're going to look at your financial status, like am I in like easy waters, you know, like do I have enough money? Do I don't have to worry about those things? Do I have friends? Do I have family? Those kind of things. And then on top of all those things is creativity. So you can imagine that if you're a touring artist with a schedule like you had and like I had at that time, constantly stressing, all those people pulling on you, asking things of you. Creativity is something that's gonna be hit the first. So the first thing you want to do at that moment is take some time off. Like take some time for yourself, to work on yourself, to reflect, to chill, and empty the bucket.
That's the hard thing. But what are you doing if you're just like constantly having like the full calendar, like I had at the time? So it was like 3 days just awful touring, you know. And then of course, what also happens at that time is when you're at that point where you're just getting like unmotivated because you're just like too blocked in your head. You can't get a good inspirational thought in your head anymore. You lose the the strength and the fun at it as well, you know.
Yeah,
So
exactly. Because you
because
start forcing things.
yeah,
And
exactly.
music is something that needs to come, yeah, out of itself, you know, like it needs to
Yeah,
come naturally
yeah,
from the passion, from the creativity of it. And when all those things disappear, you start forcing it. And once you start forcing music, the fun, once you start pulling out the fun,
yeah,
there's literally nothing left anymore because it's a really tough job. And
yeah.
especially on the level where you've been and where I've been, and maybe even higher. Um, one of the things that keeps you going is the fun.
That's the most important thing, and that's what I
Yeah,
think also what we should, what all the people who are watching, that they keep that in mind. You know that
yeah,
no matter what happens, and no matter what it takes, if you feel that you're losing the fun of getting into the studio or getting on the road, there are some things you need to reconsider.
yeah,
Something is going wrong in the
yeah.
circle of work that you're thinking about.
Exactly. Like remember why you started this, you know?
Yeah, yeah,
In the beginning when there were no strings attached, you had so much fun in the process. That's
yeah,
the reason why you came so far.
yeah. The
Because
fire.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, like I mentioned, if there is no fun, it's almost impossible to get that far
yeah.
because
Of
there
course.
will be 1,000 challenges that will drag you down, and
Yeah,
the only thing that will get you through it is the fun of it and the passion for music.
that's absolutely right.
You
And
know what? Mhm.
yeah, go ahead.
No, you know what I noticed during the whole quarantine period in the last couple of 3 months, 4 months.
Yeah,
And what I was afraid of is that all those touring artists who had schedules like you had, you know,
yeah,
like being in 3 different cities a week, not knowing really where they lived or where they
yeah,
were or whatever. If you take those people, those guys and girls out of their comfort zone, and you put them into quarantine, into a zone where normally they're in the middle of the picture, you know, like they get all the attention they need, and you put them into a zone where they normally aren't at their home
yeah,
with the people that they don't see that often, their girlfriends or their wives, without all the attention that they normally get,
yeah,
like their whole world got upside down. And
yeah.
what you noticed in those, especially the top artists, is that they really got uncomfortable because they're not used to live like this.
I
And
get it. Yeah, yeah, I understand.
yeah,
Yeah,
and they're forced to think about a different way of life. And I think that brings some positive things with it and some negative things. As in, the negative things is you can start to feel shit, really shit, real
yeah,
quick.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
But the positive things is that you might also see how a different life looks because if you're in the rat race, if you're constantly touring, constantly chasing those bookings, chasing those fans, it's almost impossible to stop, to
that's
say
true.
like I'm gonna take some time off. You know, it's almost
Yeah,
impossible.
yeah,
And now that you're forced to take that time off and to spend times with your beloved ones, spend times with your friends, be at home for a longer period of time instead of just 3 days or a week,
yeah.
you have some time to start um, to learn how it is to live like that. And I think for some artists, it's kind of a relief to find out like, hey, I actually like this lifestyle as well, and I kind of
Yeah.
forgot about it because I was
That's
constantly
yeah,
on the
yeah,
road.
yeah. That's exactly what I wanted to,
Yeah,
what I wrote down as well. Like friends and family, like everyday life that you need in your life as well. You know, that's what I'm saying. You need the social balance as
yeah,
well. You
yeah.
know, our job in the end is it's the touring artist life is can be very lonesome. You
Hmm.
know, especially if you're producing yourself as well. You know, you're
Yeah.
sitting in the studio on the weekends. You go on tour, and mostly you're on tour alone. If you're not like a bigger artist who can take like a tour manager with him or something like that.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
know,
Because
so
that's also something a lot of people don't realize. It's
yeah,
expensive, you know. You need to
it
make a
is.
lot of money before you can take a tour manager with you.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, back in the days when we've been at that point where we've been touring a lot, we always had like two hotel rooms, two flights, everything, and no landed fees. Landed
Hmm.
fees was something that I didn't know back then, you know, and now everything is landed. So for all the guys who are watching, landed fees means it includes everything. It includes the booking fee. It includes the flights and yeah,
Hotels.
and hotels and everything.
Yeah.
Perhaps not the hotels, but all in all, it includes like flights and the booking fee, for example.
Yeah.
You know, and if you, let's say, if you get 1,000 euros landed, you will end up with 600 euros or less.
Or less, yeah.
Or less, you know. I mean,
But
if you're going, yeah,
that's probably because everyone started flying business and stuff, you know, like
yeah.
the expenses got way too high.
And who started with those landing fees? I think it was the States or
I think
China
so
or
too.
something. States,
I
States.
think
I
it was
think
the
it was,
States, yeah.
yeah. It
I
was in
can't
the
blame
States.
them.
No, no, that's true. But back to the topic that was
Hmm.
friends and family. I feel, especially now in the Corona times, that the people have been at home. They were forced to be at home. Either way, it's going to make you stronger and realize how essential it is to keep the balance.
Hmm.
Yeah, and focus on things, because on the one hand, of course, you couldn't be you weren't touring anymore at that time,
Hmm.
but you were able to focus on the things that were lacking. You didn't have
Yeah.
time for before. You know,
Yeah.
focus on learning new things. Focus on meeting friends again. Get re-socialized with people, and perhaps even see the musician touring life a little differently, you know, like a little bit down to earth again,
Yeah.
which is an essential part, you
Yeah.
know?
You kind of get taken out of that bubble, you know, and,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
you can actually see it from the outside and have a clear look at it and see like, okay, what's actually going on here, you know?
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
what have
exactly.
I been doing?
Yeah.
Is it still something I love, or am I just on autopilot right now? Am I
Mm,
just doing this because I don't know any better?
yeah,
And those are all questions, in my opinion, that are really important to ask yourself every now and
yeah.
then.
That's absolutely right. So, and I also wanted to ask you. So for all the people who don't know, JoeySuki has been a touring artist. He has been a very successful DJ, and he switched to artist coaching now. And can you tell us a little bit how that artist coaching looks like? Let's say if a desperate artist comes to you, or let's put it that way, an artist that has, yeah, that has lost his way a little bit, the structure, or
Hmm.
has no idea how to structure his ongoing career.
Hmm.
What are the steps you take the people through before getting really into action? What are you
Yeah.
doing?
Well, it's good to clear that there's two different types of coaching that I do.
Yeah,
So on the one hand, I help artists to make a living from their hobby. So
yeah,
that's more for the kind of starting artists, you know,
yeah,
those artists who are already like in it for 4 or 5 years, but really can't manage to make a living from it.
yeah,
So that's what I call more the career coaching part.
yeah,
That's not necessarily mentally, you know, it's more like practical, how to build something out of nothing, those
yeah.
kind of things. And then you have the mental aspect of it. So that's the mental coaching. That's probably what you're talking about right now. So the mental challenges you might have.
No, I mean both is like
Oh,
quite important, you know, especially for
okay.
the guys who are watching now, because the people who are also coming to Refine, we have established artists as well, but most of the people who come to us are people who want to take that next step,
Yeah,
you know, and
yeah,
also people who come to you. These people would also come to you to take the next big step, because
yeah,
they are on fire. They want to achieve something. They have their products ready, and they just want to keep churning out
yeah.
their career. You
Yeah,
know?
well, for those artists, that will mean that you will enter the career coaching program,
Yeah,
which means that it's a 1 year program, and in that year we're going to create a full custom coaching program for you. Because I don't believe that any artist is the same. You know, there's no one size fits all in this industry.
no, no, of course not.
So what we do is custom
Mm,
work for artists to help build their artist career
mm,
in at least 1 year. But after that, we will be active as well, because I believe coaching is valuable during your whole career. Your career keeps changing, your life keeps changing, so you will face different challenges each month, each year, each week,
Yeah.
and you can't predict a lot of those things. So that's why I think coaching is valuable along your whole career. That's because I help like the beginning artists that I mentioned, but also the already established artists, but they have different challenges. They have like more mental problems or more higher problems like managements, bookers, those kind of things that the starters don't really have.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, it's custom coaching, one-on-one, so no groups or whatever. It's one-on-one, and you also have like 24/7 mentor through WhatsApp, so you can
Mhm.
constantly stay in touch. Whenever something hits you or you need an answer or whatever, you can always text your mentor or coach. Um, that does that kind of answer your question, or
Yeah, yeah,
yeah?
that does, yeah. And I think that's because I feel also this is something that people probably haven't heard about before, or that is
Mm,
not so established, like having an artist coach.
yeah,
Yeah, because I think you've been one of the few who's really made the step into doing it as a profession. You
yeah.
know, from
I think I'm
in our
actually I think
first
I'm
one.
actually the only one because I do know a couple of people who call themselves artist coach, but they're actually more like a psychologist,
Mm,
which I am too.
yeah,
But I do it combined with the career coaching
yeah.
from my experience, from my knowledge,
That's
from my
exactly,
network.
yeah. So you see how many parallels we have.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly. Yeah,
it's in the end, it's if now that I thought about it, because it's pretty the same. You know, you just do it for this one, yeah, and I do it for the music. You know,
yeah,
which is exactly it's exactly the same thing. You
it
know,
is. Yeah,
people,
yeah,
yeah, people come to you because they have a problem, because they are stuck with something that they can't figure out, and
yeah,
the same is with me and the team. You know, people come to us because they are stuck with something, but the thing is, they need, in order to make that next step, to get somewhere, they need the content.
yeah.
They need like tracks out
You know,
there, you
the
know?
thing is, what you do is kind of one step before you come to me,
Yeah,
as in, at first, the music needs to be good. That's where you come in.
yeah,
You want to help them or at least assist them to get their music to the next level, right? That's
yeah,
what you do. And where I come in is when you have that music, but you don't know how to sell yourself, or you don't know how to sell your music, or how to get to that next step in the music industry. That's where I come in. And then if you take it on a long term, when you're already successful and you face some mental challenges, for example, like burnouts, overthinking, procrastination, perfectionism, all those kind of things, that things that we can help you with as well. So
yeah,
we're kind of the follow-up step once you have your music finished, but you're getting stuck. That's
yeah,
where we come in.
yeah, yeah, which is a great foundation for a partnership.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. But
You know?
that's the perfect thing. As in, like I said, I know your name
Yeah,
from the previous years. I've played a
yeah,
couple of your songs, um, but we never really got in touch, and now we are, and now we notice that it really clicks, and we're like-minded in a lot of things.
yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and the funny thing is the service you offer is something I don't do. As in, I'm not gonna sit with someone to work on his music. It's just not something that I do anymore.
Yeah.
So that's why it's so great that we found each other.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, we talked about it already. Like we're swapping ideas way and back, trying to find because we get along very well, you know,
Hmm.
and we feel that it would complement each other, you know,
Exactly. Yeah.
because you might have artists that don't have the right productions, where you say, man, you got to get those productions right, you know,
Hmm.
or you should probably talk to Eddie. On the other hand, I have like clients that have great tracks. I have a couple of guys that make amazing music, but don't know anybody or don't know how to make the steps, you know, the next
Yeah.
step. So I say, hey, I have this guy from Holland, you
Yeah.
know,
That's
which is like
me. Yeah.
it would be so stupid. I mean, this is also what I'm praying all the time. I'm just saying, guys, get into a network, build a network, work
Yeah.
together to create something greater
Yeah.
than just like focusing on yourself. You need to focus on teamwork
Hmm.
because you can achieve so much more than you can do alone, you
True.
know?
Yeah,
So, and
100% true. That's something I had to find out in my own career as well by the
yeah,
hard
yeah,
way.
true. Yeah,
Because I was one of those producers, one of those artists who wanted to do everything by himself.
same here. Yeah,
Um, and sometimes I still do. It's really hard to ask for help sometimes.
yeah,
But in a lot of cases, it just really helps to ask for help, because it just you just can't know everything by yourself, and it's better to focus on one thing for yourself and do that right, and
yeah.
ask help to support on the other aspects.
And it will save you time as well.
Yeah,
It will
exactly.
take you
Valuable
time.
time.
It will take but it will save you time. It will save you frustration. You
Hmm.
know, the only thing that you have to overcome is your ego.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
know,
But
you
that's
just have,
that's the hardest part.
yeah. But I mean, that's I think you agree that over the last, yeah, I would say the last year, the people are getting a little bit more collaborative, a little bit
Hmm.
more open-minded, you know,
Hmm.
being, I mean, let's say 10 years ago, imagine you writing a big artist, top 10 artist. Do you think they would answer? Or if you would comment, and most of them would have never even answered, you
Yeah.
know? It
But
was really hard.
I think that changed because of how the world changed, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
The
That's a
world
good
has
thing.
become way more transparent than it was 10 years ago.
Yes.
Um, and because of social media, things got a lot easier in some sort of way as well to approach people, to talk to people.
Yeah.
And aside from that as well, artists realize, or at least start to realize, that having being open towards your fans or towards your followers is key right now.
It
Like
is.
you can make the best music in the world, but that's not going to help you get anywhere. There's
No.
more to it, like the content, like the personal connection, like the engagement that you have with your followers. And that's something that changed, you know. 10 years ago, if you make great music, that was enough. You could get there.
Yeah.
But social media came in, and now you have the whole social aspect to it as well.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I mean, back then we had what was it? MySpace?
Yeah,
My,
MySpace, Hives, we had in the Netherlands. Yeah,
MySpace, then Facebook came, and I
yeah,
mean now I still it's just so frustrating what they've done to Facebook. I have to admit, you know, because Facebook was such a great tool, and then they changed those stupid algorithms
mm,
that as soon as you post something, you want all the people, all the followers that are following you to see the content. It
yep.
needs to show up in their newsfeed, but it did simply doesn't anymore.
No,
So
it's
and
the business model. You know, you have
yeah,
to
yeah,
pay for it.
exactly. Yeah, now
Yeah,
you have to pay for it, and
yeah,
everybody says, "Here, fuck that. I'm not going
yeah.
to do that anymore."
But it's
You know?
that's something that's constantly happening. As in, it's a
Yeah,
matter of where the attention is. It's with
yeah,
marketing and everything. Right now, all the attention is on Instagram, and as you might have noticed as well in the last couple of months, the reach also has go down on
yeah.
Instagram. And it's gonna be the same story as Facebook, you know. Everyone's going to a
It's the
platform,
same group. It's the same
yeah,
group, man.
and then
You know?
5 years from now, it's gonna be TikTok, and then 5 years
Oh
from that,
God
it's
in
gonna
heaven.
be, I don't know, but that's just how the market works. It's yeah, a matter of demand and
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
question and
Yeah,
demand. Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
But I mean, you're on TikTok like 7 hours a day. I can tell you that.
No, not 7 hours, definitely not. But you know, I don't want to be. I'm a bit older than the average age on there, although it's getting higher at the moment.
That's
And I
true.
must say, I really like the platform. It took
Yeah,
me a few weeks to understand it, and it took me a few weeks to understand what the platform is about and how you can use it as an artist. But I really believe that right now you can make big steps there. If you're an
yeah.
artist, take a look at Jason Derulo. He's the perfect example. I'm not sure if you've noticed what's going on there.
Because of his dancing.
Well, Jason Derulo kind of was out of the picture, right? Like
Yeah,
he
yeah,
had a lot
true.
of hits and no one was really talking about him anymore.
Yeah,
But when TikTok came out, he started posting a lot of stuff there, like the dancing and
Yeah.
funny videos and all those kind of things. But the way TikTok works is that music can go viral pretty quick. If you have a look at the Spotify top 100 right now, probably 10, 20 songs are from TikTok. It's crazy.
Sure.
And that's how powerful that platform already is. So it's
Yeah.
important to realize that. But Jason Derulo went all in on TikTok a couple of months ago, I guess, and he started posting a lot there. And now there's this hit that was viral on TikTok with a saxo thing, like
Yeah.
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 And he just made he started singing on that song and he released it. And now it's a big hit, just because everyone already knows that song from TikTok. And he has, I'm not sure, but I think he already has like millions of followers on TikTok. So he's completely back.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's crazy. I mean, this is like a special. Yeah. For me, at the moment, it's like that honestly, hands down, I have it installed, but I've used it once, I think.
Okay, yeah.
You know, which is stupid,
Yeah.
but I mean, if you're in the music industry, you should really evolve as well. And I think
Yeah.
evolving in terms of being an artist over a long term.
Yeah.
So
But
you see how do you
that
see how I bridge that gap now?
yeah, but
To,
that's an interesting point, because
yeah,
evolving means change,
yeah,
and changing is kind of the thing everyone is afraid of,
of
because
course.
that
Yeah,
means you have to leave your comfort zone and start trying new things.
yeah,
It's like finding going to a new job. It always feels kind of awkward and it feels a bit off, but you probably deep inside it's the best thing to do.
yeah.
But
That's exactly what I said. That success begins at the edge of your comfort zone.
yeah,
That's how
exactly.
it is. Have to leave. You have to make steps that might be a little bit uncomfortable, that feel uncomfortable to you,
Yeah,
but they will make probably the best out of it.
yeah,
And especially what I also found out, if you have an idea and everybody tells you, really, if I say everyone, I mean everyone tells you, no, don't do it. It's the worst decision that you can do. And in the end, if you do it, it will work.
yeah,
If you're absolutely convinced it will work,
yeah.
it will.
But
So, and
that's where fear comes in,
yeah, of course.
and fear is a weird thing because it's built to protect us. Um, but it can also stop you from achieving what you really want.
Yeah,
And that's the interesting part where I help people with as well, or artists in this case, because as an artist, you have a lot of those moments where you need to make a decision, but because of the fear, what could happen after it, you don't do it. But by not making that decision, you're kind of blocking your own growth
that's
as an
true.
artist.
That's true. Yeah,
And unfortunately, most artists just simply aren't aware of the fact that this is happening, you know. And what I'm doing in the coaching program is making you aware of that moment. Like, hey, you see what's happening here? You have an
hmm
opportunity.
hmm
You're probably scared about something. We're
yeah,
gonna find out what it is. We're gonna overcome it, and then we're gonna take the step.
yeah. And how many artists have you had
Hmm.
where you just said, "Hey, be aware, be aware what's happening right now, right in front of your face, which
Hmm.
opportunity comes right in.
Yeah,
So, and then as soon as you tell them, they realize, they say, oh my God, how could I have missed this?
yeah,
Or how could I miss this? Because there's awareness is a really important thing as
yeah,
well.
exactly. And
Just be
and
it's and I think being a person who's aware of what is happening and being alert,
mhm,
it takes a lot of energy out of you at the beginning. You
a lot
know,
of energy. Yeah,
yeah, you have to really be a ninja at the beginning to really be know the thing of awareness, especially
yeah,
also like bad thoughts. When bad
yeah,
thoughts rush into your head, that you
yeah.
realize that you're having bad thoughts, and
But
then you have
it
to,
starts
yeah,
it starts with awareness, as in it starts with becoming aware of something happening.
yeah,
But still, you need to know where you need to. point your finger towards, like you need to know like, okay, what's actually happening, because you can be aware of, hey, something's coming on my path, there's an opportunity coming here, but all those feelings that you have, like fear, procrastination, perfectionism, all those things that might come up on top, how can you explain them? And once you know how to explain them, and once you know why you feel what you're feeling, that can really help you to make future decisions as well.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. You know what also came to mind? Imagine, yeah. I mean, we love helping people. Yeah, we want to get the best out of everyone who gets in touch with us. So we always want to help them get bigger, make wiser decisions and stuff. But on the other hand, you also have to earn a little bit of money out of it. So, but do you still give a lot of advice to people? That happened to me several times already, where people got in touch with me and said, Eddie, listen, I'm at the beginning, I'm super stuck. I have these productions. I have no idea what I need to do to make it better. And I'm just so stuck, but I don't have any money. Right? So that most of the time, because I feel, normally as a businessman, I would say, well, hey, don't do it. Don't waste your time, But in the end, I think it's really, really important as well to at least giving a helping hand,
Sure.
So I think that's a really important thing, and I love doing that.
Exactly.
Doing something for the people that they least expect. It's I haven't been like that. And you probably haven't been like that as well back then.
Didn't have the time for it. Like I had one focus, and that was me.
Yeah, exactly. So, but in the end, that is something that I always, everyone who writes me, I said, man, oh, girl, send over the music. I'm going to listen to it 100%. I listen to everything that I got sent, and we get sent a lot of music, So I always like to listen to it with the team, and most of the time, especially if there are clients that are a little bit stuck and they don't know which service, because we have like 4 service packages, and if they are stuck and have no idea which package to choose, the first thing is I'm going to listen to the music, and then I'm going to call them, because I think it's all about personal connection, because that already takes away a little bit of the problems and relieves the artist as well.
True. Yeah, definitely.
So, and I mean, you are a person who's jumping on phone calls and jumping on chats and all that stuff as well. And I think that's of course it's a little bit of a more modern way of thinking, because back then I was just like typing. And so you can achieve so much more by simply just picking up the phone for 5 minutes and having a chat.
For me, it depends, because mostly I do over chat, especially on Instagram and Facebook Messenger and stuff. Like I get a lot of questions on those social platforms, because
but I mean with artists that are really considering getting clients.
Every artist that is considering to apply, I do an intake call, because I feel like I need to have a good connection with that person. I don't want, like I mentioned, the coaching program is 1 year. I don't want to meet a guy every month that I don't like. I don't believe that's a great way to work. Exactly. So that's why I do those intake calls, because I want to make sure that they're at the right level where I can be valuable. As I mentioned, at first their music needs to be great. So that's the first thing I check. Like, how does their music sound? Because if it doesn't sound good enough, technically, not creative, but technically, then I'm gonna say like, okay, you know what? It's probably too early for you.
And you should go to Eddie.
Exactly. Like you first need to start working on your music, and then meet me probably a year from now or whatever. But this is not the right moment. And if the music already is at a great level, then we go into the intake call, and we just chat for like 20 minutes, answer all the questions they have, and then they can decide like, okay, this actually could be valuable to me.
Hmm.
But then, you've had all the steps. They know the pricing, they know the options, they've met me or someone else,
Yeah.
and they know what they're getting into.
Yeah.
So to me, the personal connection is super important because we're literally going to work together. So
Yeah.
yeah,
100%.
super important.
Yeah. Did
And
you have?
yeah,
Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
no, on the other aspect, which you mentioned, like doing things for free, I put out a lot of content, like shitloads
I
of it.
know. I know. Yeah.
Yeah, probably if you
100%.
follow me, you want to just unfollow because of the amount.
Yeah. But I mean, look at this kind of content here. What we're doing
Exactly,
here. This is
exactly.
stuff, and you're putting stuff. You had the guys from Two Room on there. You had a lot of other artists. Kid
Yeah,
Method as well. You talked to him, and this stuff. If people are just being aware that there's a lot of content out there that is eye-opening.
yeah.
Just soak it in. Just soak it in and get aware of what is already out there. And that,
I'm 100%. If you watch, there's already over 200 episodes in the podcast.
yeah,
I'm 100% sure if you check all those episodes and you write down all the tips and tricks that you get from all those
yeah,
episodes, you don't even need me.
yeah, yeah. That's true. That's true.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
it's
but
just the thing that I know that most people need guidance. Like we have the internet, so all the information you need is out there.
yeah,
But the problem is getting all the pieces of the puzzle right. And
that's
that's the
exactly right. Yeah,
problem.
you
There's
have to
so much
start. Yeah, yeah,
information that you need to know where it needs to fit.
yeah,
And that's what I help with.
yeah. And there's also a lot of content out there that is, um, if you want to filter it down and arrange it right, you have to start with the first step, not with the last one.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
all
Yeah.
the tips are out there. Yeah, exactly. That's what I need. But that's like probably the last step of
Yeah.
the 10 that you need to make in order to evolve properly.
My favorite one is I just finished my first couple of songs. How
Yeah,
can I send it to Spinnin? Or how can I send it to this or that label?
yeah.
And I always say, like, that's not the right way to go.
Hmm.
I've talked to a lot of label owners at this point, which all those conversations are online. You can hear them say it themselves. Labels are not just interested in music.
No.
There's more to it. You need to have a story. You need to have a brand. And
Yeah,
that's what most artists somehow don't realize or don't want to realize because that's where the hours of work are into.
yeah.
But it's the truth. Music just isn't enough anymore, unfortunately.
No, that's true. And I mean, that's also the talk that I had with Ralph.
Yeah, I
Um,
noticed. Yeah, from what was it? New idea, right?
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's now actually A&R at Armada.
yeah, I noticed. Yeah.
So, and I've known him for a decade or so a
hmm
long time, and it's just we talked about it. What should us? What are you really looking for when you get sent new music? What are you looking out for?
Yeah.
What rings the bell? And
hmm
that's exactly what you said. They are not looking just for a tune. They are more looking for an artist package, where
Yeah.
the artist looks cool or he has something really special. They want to have like a not only a song, they want to have like a cool artist package, like a
Yeah.
cool featuring that hasn't been there yet, because like they can sign tracks, so many tracks in a row, but they
Yeah.
would rather sign an artist for their label and do 6, 7 releases a year, but build the artist with it.
Yeah. Exactly.
You
Like
know?
the story matters,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
that's
So
something that you can show through your social media.
yeah,
You can through your social media content, you can show your audience what your story is. You can
exactly.
literally take them on your journey, on your story, and show them what you do to get where you want to go.
Yeah,
And that's what a lot of artists are not doing at this moment. They're just completely focusing on the studio, which is important because it's the fundament of it
yeah,
all.
yeah, yeah, sure.
Music is the fundament of your whole career, so it's important. But after a couple of years of being in the studio and mastering the skill of music production, let's just call it that, you need to start looking at the other steps.
Yeah,
There needs to come a point where you say, okay, now my music's good enough. now I'm gonna need to work on all those other things like branding, like promoting, like marketing, all those other steps that are key to get to the next step in your career.
Yeah, it's not just music anymore. Music is, as you
No.
said, music is the foundation of everything.
Yeah.
But everything around it is music is just like, let's say, 50% of everything. The other 50% is just you as an artist.
Yeah.
You know,
Exactly.
you have to have like yeah, you have to there are so many artists out there that make amazing music but have like an internet presence that is just there's nothing.
Yeah.
You know?
You know the problem is what's amazing music? As in, who are we to decide what amazing music is?
Yeah, that's true.
Because as I just
I
mentioned,
mean, it's unique music that sticks out, you know. So
Sure.
that it doesn't matter what genres it
But
is.
but when you say amazing music, you probably mean a certain style, like the style that you like, but also mixed properly, mastered properly, because that's how you listen to music.
I mean, we are not objective anymore. That's the
No,
problem,
because
you know.
the average listener, the average festival partier,
Yeah.
doesn't listen to music the way that we do as a music producer.
No. That's true. That's
And that's
and
something.
that's a shame. That's a shame.
Yeah, you know, it's something that you have to think about. As in, if you take the example of Jason Derulo, the track
Yeah.
that I just mentioned, production-wise, I'm probably hurting people here, but that's not the toughest thing to make. You know, give me 3 hours and I can remake it, maybe
Yeah.
even better.
Yeah.
But that's not the point. You know, the point
No.
is that it's catchy and that people like it.
Exactly.
And that's the thing we tend to forget as a music producer. We tend to forget that it's not all about the details. It's more about the feeling, the effect, the feeling that the track brings you.
Yeah.
And that's hard to realize for a music producer, but it's good to understand.
Yeah, and that's also a reason why a lot of people got in touch with us and said, yeah, I've worked with this audio engineer, I've worked with that producer and blah blah, and it never worked out. They never turned it into something that I really wanted. And I mean, the easiest answer is because they have no idea what the audience wants and how, you know, and that's that's simply how it is, because we've been on the road, we've been at that stage, we've been on that stage and have seen how the people react to things and what people want. I mean, it's always constantly changing. They probably don't want the stuff anymore that we were thinking that they wanted, right? So it's always evolving, you know. But I mean, at least we've been outside the studio, we've produced our tracks, we've been road testing it several times before we released it. Or before we said, now it's working, you know, and make the break a little bit shorter, make more drum rolls in here, and do this, bring that little harmony in there and stuff. And they're like producers that are, I'm not saying anything bad about the producers, you know, but I'm just saying we have a wider look at things.
It's a different way of working.
It's a different, absolutely, yeah.
I think how you can describe it, I just thought of this, like, how can I explain this easily? Maybe this helps. There are people who can create the craziest monster supercar, which looks horrible but is fast as hell.
Yeah.
But there's also people like us who build Lamborghinis, as in they're fast, but they're also beautiful.
Yeah.
And maybe they're not as fast as the supercar, but at least they sell better because they look beautiful and they're fast enough at least.
Yeah, that's
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense, of course.
So you have music producers who only focus on the details and want to make that monster car, which looks horrible but is the fastest on the planet.
Yeah.
But that doesn't sell because that's not what people want.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's a good explanation.
Yeah, maybe it helps. I just thought of it. It's like, how can I make this easy for people? Like,
so, and I think it would also be good to answer a couple of questions.
Sure. So I already saw it in the comment section.
Okay. So, and I also want to. Oh, I'm sorry.
What's that?
Why do I have that in my head? It's actually for a bottle to pour
Oh,
like
okay.
shots. So yeah, you could see.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So guys, you can ask questions right now. So we are going to answer a couple of questions in the last 10 minutes now. So
I
and
already
Joe,
saw one about goal setting. Let me find one. Um,
Joe is already researching. So
yeah.
guys,
What do you
ask your
think about goal setting? That's what he asked. Dario Latessa.
yeah,
I'm a big believer in it
yeah,
because I believe that if you don't have a goal, it's really hard to create a roadmap, right?
yeah.
Once you can you get another comparison. If you get into the car but you don't know where to go to, you just keep driving around.
That's true.
And that's the same with your artist career. Once you have a goal where you want to go to, you can start mapping your route to it.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, now I know why I sold my motorbike.
Really? Because you
Yeah,
just kept
because
driving around.
yeah, because I got on the weather was great. I would go and say, today is motorbike weather. So I got on the bike, but I didn't know where to go. So I just went the usual route on my own,
Yeah.
you know. And then I realized after a while, this is not doing anything for me anymore. You
Yeah.
know, I
There's
just I
no
just got
sense.
numb. It makes no sense for me. And that's
Yeah.
exactly now that you think about it, compare it to the music industry.
Yeah.
It's exactly the same. If you're
It's the
doing
same
all the
thing.
same shit all and all over again on your own, driving the same routes without having a goal, it's doomed to die.
It's pointless.
It's pointless. Makes
Yeah.
no sense.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I believe in goal setting. And that's one of the things that we do in the coaching program in one of the first sessions as well.
Yeah,
Find out what the goal is because everyone has a different goal, right?
yeah,
One artist says, like, okay, my end goal would be Tomorrowland main stage. The other says, I just want to make a living from it. Everyone has their own specific end goal.
yeah.
And once you find out what that end goal is, you can start mapping your route to it. And
That's
um, I,
important. Yeah,
I also believe that once you make goals, you should make them measurable. Um, because you can say, for example, I want to get more followers this year. But what's more? Is that one? Is that 1,000? Is that
yeah,
10,000? You need to make those things measurable because then you can start to see, like, hey, how am I actually performing here?
yeah. That's exactly right, and that's something that's super important. For me, I'm a person who needs structure, and so, you know that since February, I started to follow a certain path that needs to be very strict and organized.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm a little bit different than you in that point, right? So I'm getting up at a certain time and I'm doing it all by the watch.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly. Yeah.
so but for me, I do a daily routine, I
Mm-hmm.
do a weekly routine, I do a Sunday routine. Every Sunday, I rethink the things that I've done this week, if I reach my goals, and I
Yeah,
make the goals for the following week.
yeah.
And then I have the goals that I have for the month. And
Mm-hmm.
then I have the goal that I have for the year,
Yeah,
you know? And that's really tough to really figure that out. It's not an easy thing to do, and you just have to wrap your head around it. It all depends on if you're a person who needs structure and who needs guidance.
mm-hmm.
I'm a person who needs to go in the daily routine. Otherwise, I'm not getting shit done,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah,
So,
makes sense. We talked about this last time. I've gave that a try as well with the planners.
yeah.
Um,
But you
Somehow
have,
it just
yeah,
didn't work for me.
yeah, you have to have the right planners. You have to have
Yeah.
the right plan, and you have to. I mean, for me, because I had some, um, yeah, I was mentally not in a very good state.
Mm-hmm.
So this planner that I have here, it's looking like this. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's actually, I don't know if you can
I
see
think
it.
I had the right one, the same one, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a high performance planner. That's the thing
Yeah,
that I'm using since
it's the one I had.
February. And so in the beginning, you have like a morning mindset. That's the first thing that I fill out in the morning. It's like 10 questions that you just answer yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just like stuff like one thing I can get excited about today. If one word describes the kind of person I want to be today and why,
Yeah.
you know, and someone who needs my A game today, and someone I could surprise with a note or gift,
Yeah.
stuff like that. So just like very, very basic stuff, but it's just there to make you aware again
Yeah.
of that
It puts you
you
in the
are.
right mindset. That's what
Yeah,
I
it put
noticed.
that's the thing. It
Yeah.
makes you aware of putting your head into the right
Yeah.
route again.
Because
You know?
that's the thing, especially these days, with all the distractions that are there, especially your phone and stuff, push
Yeah,
notifications.
exactly. Yeah.
It's easy to get sidetracked. So I can totally imagine that it helps, and I know a lot of people that make use of such a book. It's just somehow for me it doesn't work. So after a couple of months, I decided to not bash myself each morning and evening, and
Yeah, you
decided to
have to
just wing it.
you have to see results, and that's also a thing that I wanted to say.
Hmm.
Each day you're churning, you know.
Yeah.
So I mean, what I always say to the people, hey, listen, we talked about this and this and this, let's say a month ago, and I said try to be a little bit more aware and try to change your life routine a little bit, which is
Hmm.
like, of course, it's hard to change a habit that you've been used to for 10 years, and
Super
then
hard. Yeah.
going into a new life routine. That's
Yeah.
really, really hard. But
Yeah.
for me, for example, that's what I've learned because I've been in touch with a coach as well,
Hmm.
who's now a really good friend of mine. So, and he lived, he's actually a coach that does this high performance coaching
Okay. Yeah.
thing,
Yeah.
and he said, Eddie, do me a favor because you are in that churning process all the time. Yeah, I've done this and I've done that now. Yeah, I did this and now and to the next project and one more month longer and then I'm planning it for next year and all that stuff. And he said, just take a breath now and just be aware what did change since you started doing this, and just write down the things that you have achieved since then, the things
Yeah.
you wanted to achieve. And then I just realized, holy shit, I've already achieved so many amazing things that I've never thought I would be able to achieve.
Yeah.
Building Refine Productions, for example, working that, earning money with that, and working on my synchronization composer skills. And that was always a big dream of doing something like that. But now
Was that your long-term goal?
my long-term goal is working for film, TV, and doing synchronization.
And this is part of getting there, right?
Yeah, I mean this Refine Productions thing is one part of the journey.
Yeah.
Because it helps me evolve as an artist and as a musician.
Yeah.
And I knew that what you can't do is just jump into something that is not ready to earn a living from.
Hmm.
I think that's something you also said once.
Yeah.
Is if you want to change your job that you're having now with something that you even love more, but that's not at a point where you can earn a living from it, that you can do it, but you have
Yeah. You need to find an overlaps, right?
Yeah,
You don't
exactly.
go in
And
all the way.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. But I mean, I wanted to do it. I want to do it when I'm 60. I still want to be able to make music, and I would love to see my music on TV, on an advert. I mean, that's something I wanted to see. I want to see it on the Netflix series and stuff.
Yeah.
And
So this is part of your journey, right? So this is part
that's
of
my absolute, and that's what I'm hungry for. I'm hungry.
Yeah.
I'm a ninja for that.
Yeah.
But
that's why goal setting is so important, because you have
exactly.
that clear goal in mind, right? Like the movie music and stuff.
Yeah.
And this is part of that roadmap towards that end goal. So subconsciously you might have set goals for yourself without even knowing it.
Yeah, that's true. Hold on a second. 15 seconds, we're going offline. I'm going to get you into the chat. Our 1 hour is gone, but I want to talk to you for 5 more minutes, okay?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.